Let me tell you what happened, straight up, no bullshit. I'm Jack Keller, 38, and about a year ago, I was in a real rough spot, unemployed after getting laid off from my warehouse job, scraping by on savings that were drying up fast. I ended up crashing in this rundown university dormitory on the edge of town, one of those old buildings they rent out cheap to non-students when enrollment's low. It was a steal, like $400 a month, but the place was a dump. Dimly lit hallways with peeling paint, old wooden doors that creaked like they were from another century, and this constant chill that seeped in, especially at night, like frost clinging to the walls even in summer. I remember thinking, hey, it's temporary, I'll get back on my feet, find something better. But man, being there alone, it amplified everything. My isolation, the job hunt failures, all that melancholic weight pressing down. The hallways were the worst part, long and narrow, kind of like tunnels that stretched on forever with these faded posters tacked up here and there. Old event flyers from years ago that nobody bothered to take down. I'd wander them late at night when I couldn't sleep, just pacing to clear my head, my sneakers scuffing against the worn linoleum. It was dead silent most times, since the place was half empty, mostly a few straggling grad students or folks like me down on their luck. One night, maybe a week after I moved in, I'm out there around 2 a.m., feeling that familiar drag of exhaustion, my messy brown hair all over the place, wearing my usual sweatpants and t-shirt that hung loose 'cause I'd lost some weight from stress. I stopped to tie my shoelace, nothing fancy, just a quick loop, and as I straighten up, I hear it. Footsteps. Not mine, but like an echo of mine, delayed by a few seconds, faint but clear, coming from behind me in the empty hallway. I freeze, thinking, okay, maybe it's just the building settling, or sound bouncing off these old walls. But I take a step, and there it is again, tap tap, following me like someone mimicking my rhythm but a beat late. I stop dead, heart picking up, and the echoes keep going for a second or two before fading out. What the hell? I spin around, check the whole stretch. Nothing, no one, just those dimly lit bulbs casting long shadows, and that peeling paint looking like it could flake off any second. I even poked my head into the shared bathroom at the end of the hall, figuring maybe a teenager from one of the other rooms was messing around, but it was empty, just the drip of a faucet and that sterile smell. Nah, I told myself, you're tired, Jack. Imagining things, unemployment's got you paranoid. But deep down, it unsettled me, like something was watching, copying me in this invisible way. I hustled back to my room, locked the door, and tried to shake it off, curling up under the thin blanket for some warmth against that persistent chill. It didn't stop there, though. Night after night, I'd head out for those walks. Stupid, I know, but it was my way of being brave, not letting the loneliness win. And those echoes would start up again, always when I was alone in those hallways. Like I'd be pacing, thinking about my ex-job, how the boss just cut me loose without a word, and bam, there'd be that faint tap-tap trailing me, even if I varied my steps, slowed down, or sped up. It felt personal, you see. Like whatever it was mimicking me specifically, not just random noise. I remember one time, I backtracked suddenly, thinking I'd catch whoever was pranking me, maybe that kid down the hall with the band posters on his door. But nope, empty again. And get this, I tried rationalizing it every which way, maybe the building's structure, old pipes, or something echoing sounds from downstairs. I even knocked on a couple doors one evening, asked if anyone else heard weird stuff, but this one guy, some grad student with a security badge clipped to his belt, just shrugged and said the place was drafty, nothing more. But it only happened to me, right? That isolation hit hard, made me defensive about it all, like, am I really going crazy or is this real? Anyway, I got bolder, or maybe just more desperate, and decided to investigate properly. Grabbed my phone one night, hit record as I walked the hallway, deliberately stomping a bit to test it. Sure enough, while I'm out there, I hear the delayed echoes clear as day, faint but insistent, like subtle sound waves rippling through the air or imaginary shadowy footprints chasing mine. My pulse is racing, but I'm thinking, gotcha now, proof. Back in my room, I play it back, volume cranked, and nothing. Just my own steps, no echoes at all. What? I replayed it 3 times, even shook the phone like that'd help, but zip. That really threw me, made me doubt my own ears. Maybe it's all in my head, stress from being jobless, turning into some auditory hallucination. But no, it felt too real, too tied to those specific moments. And here's where it gets weirder, like the building was in on it or something. One night, I'm out there again, defensive as hell, muttering to myself that I'm not scared, just annoyed, when the echoes kick in, and suddenly this hallway light starts flickering, one of those old fluorescent bulbs buzzing like it's about to die. But get this, it syncs up briefly with the echoes, like flash in time with the tap behind me. I stopped, stared at it, heart in my throat, thinking, okay, faulty wiring, right? Has to be some electrical glitch in this rundown joint. It only lasted a few seconds before steadying out, but it amped up that sense of being targeted, like the whole place was mimicking me, not just the sounds. I mean, coincidences happen, but paired with those echoes, chilling. To test it more, I waited for times when others were around. Like one morning I ran into that teenager from down the hall in the shared kitchen, him fumbling with a coffee pot, buckle on his jeans clinking against the counter. We chatted briefly, me pretending everything's fine, and I paced a bit while we talked. No echoes at all, dead silent except for our voices. But as soon as he left and I was alone again, bam, they started up. It was like whatever this was, it only wanted me, isolating me in that melancholic bubble. I tried recording again that night, phone in hand, walking slow, but playback, nothing audible, just my frustrated breathing. I even thought about structural issues, like maybe the floorboards were loose, creating some weird delay. Hell, I got down on my knees one time, pressing on them, but they felt solid. Still, I kept rationalizing, telling myself it was the unemployment getting to me, making me hear things that weren't there. But you know what? Deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. It felt too deliberate, too much like an invisible presence copying my every move, and that dread built up, making those late-night walks feel like a game I didn't want to play. Look, I don't scare easy. I've faced worse, like losing my job and scraping by in that frost-chilled dump. But that final night, about a month into this mess, it all peaked, and I swear it still gives me chills thinking about it. I'd been out wandering again, trying to shake off another failed job interview that day, the hallways darker than usual, that tunnel-like stretch feeling endless with those old posters staring back like silent witnesses. The echoes started faint, but they built, getting louder, more insistent, like they were closing in, delayed taps turning into a rhythm that matched mine but pushed harder. My skin prickled, that melancholic weight turning to straight fear, but I pushed on, being brave or stupid, I don't know. Then the light flickered again, syncing up with those sounds, flash tap, before steadying, and I hurried toward my room, heart pounding like a drum. I could hear them right behind me, even as I fumbled with the key, that invisible auditory thing feeling closer, like subtle sound waves brushing the air. slammed the door shut, locked it, leaned against it, breathing heavy, seeking that bit of warmth from my cramped space with its single bulb and thin blanket. And then, God, this is the part that haunts me, the echoes didn't stop right away. For a few seconds, they continued outside the door, faint taps like something was still walking, trying to follow me in, mimicking my last steps even after I'd stopped. I froze, listening, doubting myself again. Is that real, or am I cracking up? Grabbed my phone quick, hit record through the door, but when I played it back later, nothing but silence. The flickering light outside steadied for good after that, like the coincidence had played out, probably just bad wiring, but paired with those lingering sounds. It felt like a breach, like whatever it was had tried to invade my one safe spot. I didn't sleep that night, just sat there, defensive and on edge, rationalizing it as fatigue or the building's quirks, but knowing in my gut it was more. Hell, even during that moment I kept telling myself, Jack, it's nothing, shake it off, but the fear lingered, raw and real. That was it for me. I moved out a week later, found a crappy apartment across town, and you know what? The echoes never followed. No more mimics, no flickering lights syncing up weirdly. But reflecting on it now, a year on, it still sits with me, this melancholic reminder of how low I was, unemployed and alone in that rundown place. Was it some ghost, an auditory presence tied to the dorm's history, mimicking me because of my despair, or just my mind playing tricks? I tried looking up the building online once, saw mentions of it being old, maybe some sad stories from back in the day, but nothing concrete. Part of me wants to be brave and go back, check if it's still there, but nah, I'm not that dumb. It left me with this lingering fear, that maybe it was personal, echoing my own isolation back at me. Anyway, that's my story. Take it or leave it, but I swear it happened just like that. Still makes me defensive when people doubt it, like, hey, I was there feeling that chill, hearing those steps. What do you think? Ever had something like that mess with you?